Hello, everyone, and welcome to this activity for my workbook, Light in the Dark, a guide for navigating winter depression. This activity is threading the lineage, and it's from the chapter on Samhain or Samhain. This activity invites you to explore the winding, nonlinear nature of ancestral connection. In many cultures, tapestries, quilts, and woven cloth have long served as storytellers and metaphors for stories and survival. This activity is in the spirit of that symbolic lineage to consider how connections wind through us, what we continue to carry, and what we might choose to weave in the future. You can create this activity with any materials you have, and for this one, I'm using mixed media paper, markers, a black pen, gel pens, watercolors, a watercolor brush, glue stick, colored tissue, and an X-Acto blade. To begin, choose a corner or edge of your chosen canvas and start drawing or even stitching a single line. This line represents your lineage. Let it meander, double back, and intersect with itself. There's no need to plan or think too hard about it, just let yourself be intuitive. You can also draw more threads branching off to represent different paths, people, or moments in time. Allow yourself to be intuitive and let the movement feel natural. Here I noticed that when I drew the line, it skipped. My initial impulse was to think of it as a mistake, but there are no mistakes when doing these types of activities. So I'm going to bridge it with dots. And in doing that, I'm realizing that it's like an ellipses in a sentence, letting you know that there's more to come. When I think of it this way, I look at this space as an invitation to create something new. Connection points are where these lines cross, and they serve as a pause to acknowledge a person, a quality, a memory, or anything else you choose. You can mark these connection points by drawing a circle or a shape, or using an embellishment like a rhinestone or sticker, anything you choose. You also don't have to mark every single place where the lines cross, but you definitely can if you want to. Now that I've completed that step, I'm going to prepare the journal page by laying down a few layers of watercolor. This way it'll have enough time to dry and will be ready when it's time for me to journal. You don't have to do this step, but it's something I like to do. That way I'm not just journaling on a blank page. The next step is to label these points with things like experiences, qualities, or people that make up your ancestry. You don't have to label all of the connection points, and you can also leave some of them blank as invitations to what you're still discovering. Again, let this be intuitive. You can also leave this step till the end and label the connection points as the last step so you don't have to work around them like I do here. Now that I'm looking back at the tapestry, I noticed that I want to color in those connection points that were circles. Next, you're going to fill in the spaces with patterns, textures, bits of paper, thread, or fabric, or anything else you choose. You can even stitch thread into the pages or mimic stitching with dashed lines or zigzags. I'm starting with different colored gel pens to create patterns. As I'm doing this, I can feel the experience of repeated patterns, and I begin to wonder what these patterns have been in my lineage. What experiences do we go back to? What behaviors feel natural to us, and how have they been echoes of times before? Adding texture and dimension to your tapestry acknowledges that we not only inherit identity, but sensory memory as well. The next layer I'm adding is colored tissue. I forgot to press record when I started this step, so let's do a couple of sections so you can see what I did. I used a glue stick pen to cover the area where I want the tissue, then press the tissue lightly onto it. Next, I used an X-Acto blade to cut out the tissue to match the empty space. This is a mixed media paper, so it's just thick enough to allow me to use the X-Acto blade without cutting all the way through the page. Once all the tissue was laid down, I noticed there was some bare spaces that I wanted to fill in. So I grabbed a gel pen and just filled it in with another pattern. Now that the tapestry is done, let's move on to the journal prompts. As you answer these questions, try not to think too much of your answers, just go with the flow. The first journal prompt is, what does your lineage feel like? What came up for you while you were completing your tapestry? What do you notice now that it's completed? The next question is, what threads are strong and which feel frayed or forgotten? Your answer doesn't have to be specific to the threads themselves. It can also apply to any other aspect of your tapestry. It could be the connection points or whatever you chose to fill in the tapestry. The last question is, what are you carrying forward by choice and what might you release? This question focuses on where do you go from here? Is there anything from your ancestry tapestry that you want to continue, stop, or is there anything new that you want to begin? Once I was done journaling, I looked at the tapestry and noticed that I wanted to just clean up a few things by erasing some of the pencil marks that I had laid down and gluing down some of the colored tissue edges. Thinking about that second journal question that asks what threads are strong and which feel frayed and forgotten, I suppose those tissue edges that are frayed could be thought of in regards to that question. And there you have it, a completed Threading the Lineage tapestry for Samhain. In the workbook, there's an optional step for this activity, so definitely check that out if you decide to purchase the book. It's available as a paperback as well as an immediate download ebook. You can find the workbook and its ritual companion book on my website, terapianepantla.com, or in the video description. If you complete this activity, let me know how it went for you. I'd love to know your experience and thoughts. Thank you so much.